Hello everyone and welcome to another podcast episode on M&D Fantasy. I'm Duncan and with me as always is Momo.
Hello everybody!
Before we go to chapter 1, I just want to quickly say two things. First, we have received a lot of questions regarding this podcast being on iTunes or maybe even on Spotify. Unfortunately, at this point, we are not able to provide this service. However, there is alternative way to listen this podcast other than YouTube. On each episode, there is going to be a link to MP3 file of that episode. So you can, instead of viewing this on YouTube, download this MP3 and simply listen it on any application that can open MP3 file. Second thing, we have organized our YouTube page a little bit better. From now on, each book series is going to have their own playlist. Because of course not everyone is gonna be interested in every single book that we are covering. So we hope that this will help you find the content that you want a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. But I think we should do chapter 1 now.
Shoot me your impressions and questions.
Okay, so first thing clearly that I noticed here, and I noticed this even in prologue, but I kind of forgot to talk about it. It's that there is apparently in this, on this planet, there is difference between people with light eyes and dark eyes. And apparently it's almost like a class difference, where, for example, light eyes are viewed as superior and dark eyes are viewed as inferior.
Just, imagine it like racial differences on Earth. But,
Okay.
in this case, there is some religious implication also. If I may say another thing, reason why these light eyes are in position of power is because this religion claimed that they are descendants from heralds. And that is as simple as that.
Okay. But I noticed another thing, because, so far we don't know just how different, light eyes and dark eyes are. At least I don't know yet. But first thing here that I noticed...
There is one obvious difference, so obviously.
Well, yes, in the looks. But I mean, what are
Not
the
in
benefits?
the looks, in eyes.
Okay, in eyes. But I mean, the big difference here is that, this is a fighting scene. And this Sen notice that even in enemies, the dark eyes are wearing some, like rags, leather. There are no full armors. But light eyes are wearing full armors.
Yes,
And
light eyes are like equivalent of knights. And, even in those, for example, in Middle Ages, knights were all armored, while common military, they wore probably leather armor or no armor at all.
But I have a question here about this. Is it forbidden by law for them to wear full armor, or it's simply the matter of no income, no money to own such, armor?
Armor, actually, I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it is not prohibited, but they simply cannot afford it. But what is prohibited is two things, actually. Swords and horses, I think.
Okay. Actually,
Dark
from
eyes.
prologue, we know that I think Zed say that they cannot, use swords.
Yes, it's prohibited. But
But-
also in this universe, horses are... I'm not sure actually that they are prohibited to ride horses, but horses are extremely, extremely rare. I don't know for what reason.
Or maybe it's simply how world is.
Yes.
Okay, but why I asked you this is because I noticed, for example, that Kaladin, he's wearing some dark trousers, and Sen kind of remarks that as, how is he wearing it? He's not supposed to, wear. Like, that's why I thought maybe it's forbidden by law.
But how I see him wearing, like different trousers than everybody else? That, he's very capable, and those in charge, those who are in charge, they simply allow him to get away with that because he's a good soldier.
Okay.
But, I think you missed one thing that, I missed on first read, and that is beginning of every chapter, how it starts.
Oh, I actually noticed those things, but they didn't make much sense to me.
And they are quite honestly not supposed to make sense. I just want you to notice what
I
this
noticed
is.
few things.
Tell.
I just want to tell you, and then you can, kind of guide me. So, whoever is kind of, chronicling, whoever is writing all of this, he's
Yes.
writing few things all the time. He's writing year when person has died, and he's writing color of their eyes. I don't know if that's important. Like, it's almost always the same year. 1171, so far at least that I saw.
Yes, but what is also important to notice is what is this that he's recording?
Well, people dying, their last words.
Yes, but it's not normal that somebody can record this with this accuracy. And why would he do this? That is another question to ask.
Yes, but I don't even know if it's he or she. It's simply everything is very weird about this.
This, I'll just say to you, I cannot say nothing more about this without spoiling, but it is important to keep an eye, because sometimes these things have some hints. Like this first one, for me, I don't see any hint, but in next one, there is some hint. But okay, we can continue. Just keep this in mind, that somebody is collecting these. They are called dead rattles.
So these things are important?
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so I noticed also this in the prologue, and now here is even further. There are some Sprens. And here in this chapter we get to see two Sprens. There is purple one that I kinda connected with fear, and orange Spren is connected with pain. But I really, this thing confused me.
To make it easier, to us, this is something, strange. But to these people, why they are not remarking, for example, on these Sprens? Because they are so common. They are extremely common in this world, and they are accompanying pretty much anything. There is almost Spren for pain. In future we will see Spren for rot, was mentioned in chapter 2. There is fear Spren. There is wind Spren. And
I saw that there is Spren even for hunger.
Yes, but if there is wind Spren, then you can probably imagine that there is fire Spren. They are just, imagine them like forces of nature in this world.
Do you know what this reminds me of a little bit?
What?
It reminds me of another Newton law. Action and reaction. Are they like reaction to, some conditions?
Oh man, the thing is, this is very important matter. And it's very complicated also matter. And I cannot go deeper into it without major spoilers also. But yes, you are right about that.
Okay.
But they are not always reaction.
Man, this world is full of science. The more I read, the more it appears that it's very sciencey.
Yes, exactly, man. It's very. I read this trilogy, these 3 books from this series. I read Mistborn. I read Elantris. I read bunch of Brandon interviews, and I still don't have a full grasp on this. It's extremely complicated, and I don't think anybody except Brandon have full grasp on exactly what they are, 100%.
Okay. I'm glad. I was so confused by this thing.
Just, what was strange to me when I was first reading this? I'm like, man, these are some kind of Spren, and these guys are not reacting to them, and they are so strange. But then I realized, they are strange for me, and for you, and for other readers. But in this world, they are so common that nobody is paying them any attention.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. But okay, shall I continue with...
Yeah.
Okay, so... of course, I noticed that this Kaladin, he's badass. He's revered in this, especially in his squad. And this Sen doesn't know why. I don't know, he's revealed that actually he is one of the rare guys in this field that is actually capable. And he's really intelligent. And there are a couple of things why. First thing that I notice is that he actually has great plan. How he's avoiding, for example, arrows, And that even he has the advanced sign language in combat, which
Yes.
comes very handy when there's loud noises, and their sign language is loud, so it's easy, they can easily know what to do.
Yes, he's this imply here is he's very good at strategy. He's more than capable fighter. He also dabble in healing. And
Yes, of course.
And he takes care. That is maybe most important for these guys. He take care of his platoon.
Yes, and he can read glyphs. Apparently that's like, that's letter here, those glyphs.
Yes.
So, and that's really strange, especially for somebody who is lowly dark eye.
Not only that, man, in this world, this is not only strange for dark eye, it's strange for men in general to know how to read.
Okay.
But also, man, how old is he?
Well, apparently he's very young.
No, I think this son is 15 years old, and he noticed that Kaladin is maybe just a couple of years older than him.
So he's not even 20.
Well, I think 19, 20, something like that.
Yeah.
So he's already so much accomplished for such a young age, and not only that, but also for a dark eyes.
Okay, but I think now I should, ask you something that was a little bit confusing. I want to discuss about this.
Okay.
So this battlefield, this is fight between Aletis apparently. There is, according to Sen, I think that this is fight some tiny border dispute. But that's so weird to me. Why would so many people fight over, if it's some tiny border dispute? Well, that's actually weird structure to me. Like, okay, there is king, but then there are these other kind of leaders with their own regions.
Yes, that is hierarchy here. There is king, there are high princes, like this Sadeas is implied that he's high prince, and that there are, if there are high princes, that there are probably just, princes also, right? But there are also, all these princes have their own lords, and...
Actually
so
that
it's
now
like
makes
pyramid.
more sense. Man, actually in medieval it was like that. We had we had king and, we had lords. They had
Yes,
their
and that
castles,
lord,
lands.
yes, and those lords, they had their own lords also.
Okay, now it makes more sense.
But what is strange to me is that, this kingdom allow infighting.
Okay, so here is what I think about it. Maybe he wouldn't allow it, but because he's fighting there with those Parshendis, maybe that's why,
Yeah,
they
that
are
would
kinda...
imply that he is maybe weak king, or that maybe these Aleti have culture to do things this way. One of
Or
those
maybe...
things is probably true.
But what about if he's, too busy to deal with this? Is that also possible?
But that would imply that he's weak, and that...
Or maybe that Parshendis are strong.
When I say weak, I mean, if you are busy, and those lords think that they can do whatever they want when you are busy, that would imply that you're not strong king.
Okay, yeah, because
So
this is
it's either...
disrespect.
Yes, so it's either that or this is their culture. This is how they do things.
Okay.
We will find out in future.
Okay, but another thing, that I just want to lean into this conversation. To me, it was obvious that both of these armies are fairly disorganized. Like, I mean, except for maybe Kaladin's squad, pretty much everybody else was, just running around almost headless.
This is rebel, basically, and there is reason for that is even mentioned here. You probably realize that all the best and most capable commanders and soldiers are on shattered plains fighting Parshendi.
Yes.
And why would they fight Parshendi?
Well, of course, I know why, because they killed their king.
Yes. And as you can see, Kaladin only goal is to go there.
Okay, so here's another thing that I noticed about this. He hates light-eyed people, but then, when he speak with Dalit, he actually say, that he wanna fight with those, better light eyes. So, like, is he just hating these light eyes? or he's kinda harboring hatred for maybe all of them. But that was conflicting to me.
How I view this, man, if you were dark eye in this world, or if you were, for example, a black person on Earth, couple of maybe 50, 100 years ago, you would resent people who are oppressing you also.
Okay.
But he especially hate these light eyes, I think, because he find them incapable.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, because he's so much better than them.
Yes, they are his superiors, and, he is much more capable than them. That would, make you resent somebody.
Yes.
And, he think that these guys are honorless.
Okay. Okay, so another thing that I notice is here that he wants to kill this battalion lord, and I know why, because, if you kill somebody that high, you basically proven yourself, and they send you to these shattered plains, and that's his goal. He wants to go, where real soldiers are. He's sick of this, and he succeeds. He kills this guy.
That is big reason, but I also think that small reason is because he really dislike light eyes, and that is another part of it.
Yes, but I think he was specifically aiming for this one, because he was kind of strutting on his horse.
Yes.
And he easily killed him. But then Shardbearer shows up. And this is, man, I wanted to ask you this. I'm afraid if this is spoiler or not, but this is just coming from my brain. As they explain his plate that is kinda radiating in the sun. And it somehow reminded me that he might be, one of those radiants. So, for example, is this true? The person who is wearing these shard plates, armor or even sword, are they radiants?
No. But there is connection there.
Was it anything? They heard also thunder sounds before he showed up. Are those thunders also related to him?
No.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not sure what is thunder. Maybe just, something that he heard in his head or whatever. But, there is no connection between thunder and shard bearers.
Yes. But, okay, so I still want to talk a little bit about the shard bearer because, for example, we can now jump into chapter 2 and he's in the prison. This is 8 months later and, clearly they lost here. But what I don't understand is...
Or did they?
Well, yes, that's what I'm trying to ask. This guy killed all of his, army. At least that was what's in his head. This Dalet died, Tsen died. These people that were wounded,
How do you know this shard bearer killed them?
Well, I don't know, but, at least from what he was saying, that's what happened.
No, I will not say nothing, but, you are...
Am I jumping to conclusions?
Yes, you are jumping to wrong conclusions.
Okay, I apologize. So to me that was, kind of hinted, but apparently that was faint. But when, that prisoner asked him why he's in prison, his answer was not because he killed Light Eye, but because he didn't kill Light Eye. So to me I was thinking, he's in prison because he didn't kill this shard bearer.
And you cannot expect somebody without armor to kill shard bearer.
Okay, but then I'm completely confused as to why he's in prison.
This is a little bit of misdirection from Brandon, I think.
And I've fallen into this trap in the center of it.
So, in second chapter, I again...
Wait, but when am I supposed to know what this means?
No,
Yet.
Oh. I know. It's a twist.
Okay.
Read and find out.
Wow. Now you surprised me so much, man. I really didn't expect that I wouldn't even guess anything about this.
We will find out soon enough, but
okay.
You will enjoy.
But anyway, he's in this prison, and he's in prison in the guy that is named, how do I even pronounce this?
What is his name? Come on, tell me.
I'm gonna try as best as I can, guys. Tvlakov. Am I even close?
No, I'm wondering when, Brandon was writing this, did Did he name this guy just, so he fuck with people who are trying to pronounce his name?
Shall we call him Tailensslaver? Or
I'll
Thailand?
just call him, Slaven, because this name, for me in general, fantasy names are always held to pronounce, and I pronounce half of them wrong. But this guy, when I first read this, I broke my tongue trying to read this name. So I just called him Slaver.
Yes.
But I also want you in this chapter to notice this dead rattle. Because this dead rattle maybe has some hints.
But I don't even remember what it was about.
It said 10 orders, we were loved ones. Why have you forsaken us, Almighty? Shard of my soul, where have you gone? And for you, this doesn't make much sense. But for somebody who read book, there is lot of information in this. But I will try to put myself in your shoes and just, who is Almighty?
I don't know.
It would imply that this is some deity, right?
Yes, but...
Almighty with capital A.
Yes.
Again, another thing, 10 orders. What 10 orders? That were loved ones.
I can only connect that with those 10 heralds.
Okay, you are right.
But I mean, I cannot really connect those two and two together.
Just, think about this. It will make more sense.
Okay. But shall we go back to this chapter 2, because there are a couple of things here that I want to discuss about.
First, I want you to establish timeline. This is 8 months later.
I already said that.
And how much time he spent in prison?
8 months.
So that would mean that right after that battle he is in prison.
Yes, of course. That's where he got in prison. That's why I was thinking that, that shard bearer is the reason why, why he's in the prison. Because he failed to kill him. He simply defeated their army.
Try to think of another reason why would he be in prison.
Well...
No, that for yourself, not for this episode.
Yeah, but now it's too late to think. I need time to think.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so again, here there are a couple of those Sprens mentioned, but there is one. I think this is like a troll wind Spren. This wind one. It's almost like it's taunting him, trolling him, and making him crazy.
It's very strange because, as he mentioned, these Sprens, they are not intelligence. They are like forces of nature.
Yes.
Imagine, wind Spren is like wind. They don't do nothing. They sometimes troll people, but they don't have real intelligence.
What I'm thinking about, if this reminds me of third Newton law, they are a reaction to something. So, for example, if this wind Spren, well, if it's wind, it's reaction to wind. I don't know, does that make any sense?
Yes, in case of wind Spren. But, I have some knowledge that, for example, rod Spren, maybe it doesn't work in the same way.
What do you mean?
Well, this might be tiny spoiler, but it's part of the world building. While, for example, wind Sprens, they are not producing wind. They are just, where there is wind, they are attracted to it. But rod Spren, for example, they work differently. They are not attracted to rot, but they cause rot. So, for example, if you are wounded, it's not rotting, but if rot Spren show up, that wound start rotting.
But I think that still fits into third law of Newton. But maybe this time is just reversed. They are action.
Yes. But it's just important that these Sprens are not working in the same way. Some of them. And this new Spren that is showing up to Kaladin is very, very strange. Because Sprens he even said that some of the bigger ones are capable of mimicking human voices.
Yes,
but this one show real intelligence. And not only that, but she know his name.
Yep.
And I don't know if you noticed this. He mentioned that, until he was in prison, he didn't tell his name to anybody.
Oh yes, because I actually
So,
noticed this even before in chapter 1,
so yes, that would imply that she is with him or near him
before
from
prison.
before. Yes,
Yep.
and if you remember Sen, he saw in chapter 1 that while Kaladin was fighting those 6 men, he saw like some wind
Yes.
around him.
But can I ask you something?
Yes.
Okay. But why didn't she show up to him before? When he was fighting? Because clearly, she's kinda sad that he is not fighting anymore.
Let me I cannot answer this right away, but let me ask you a question. How did she seem to you?
Well,
Did she seem like adult or did she seem like
she
innocent
didn't.
and childlike?
She seemed like child.
That is your hint. What is before? No, she's now like child and she has some, intelligence. What are you before you are child?
Oh, so she was, she was being like a, she wasn't really formed yet.
When you are baby, there is nothing in your brain basically.
Yeah, so maybe this is just her, growing.
Yes, I think. Because, I think you can see from her interactions, she doesn't know almost anything.
She's asking about why she likes those leaves.
Yes, she's asking basic questions, but she know his name, but, she doesn't know reason why she know his name.
Oh, so she is basically growing with him.
I would rather call it like gaining sentience.
So now this Spren makes sense.
I think I don't know if you noticed this, man, but did you notice lashing in this chapter?
No, what lashing, man? There was no lashing here.
Yes. Don't you remember when she showed up, when he tried to leave a bowl of that food?
Oh my god, how many stuff did I miss in this chapter? What the hell?
What happened to that bowl?
It was sticking. Is that the second lashing?
Yes.
Oh.
You really missed that part.
It didn't even cross my mind to connect that with this
But who did it? Did you, realize that she did it?
So she is apparently form of lashing or something. Is she like energy is she Stormlight?
We will mention that in future. But
Okay.
that was definitely lashing and second lashing.
Oh yeah, now that you said it. Oh my god. I feel ashamed, guys. I feel I'm so incompetent.
Oh man, so far you are good. But also, man, in this chapter, I don't know if you noticed, this entire chapter is very, very depressing.
Yes, it's very depressing. He's broken.
He's broken, he lost his faith in humanity, but I think he didn't lost faith. I just think he's lying to himself.
Man,
because
it's in his nature to help.
Yes, I think he was just disappointed so many times that he's lying to himself. I don't give a damn. But as we can see in this chapter, man, he gives a damn.
Yes, just when he realized that guy is about to die, it's almost like a reflex. He jumps and tries to help. But as always, the person that he's tried to help die. Apparently according to him.
But also another question, those names that he rattled in his head, that he failed.
Yes.
Did you notice one particular?
One he mentioned twice, that Tien.
Yes, just, keep in mind on that name.
Okay. So there's just,
also,
one thing that I've noticed here. That his medical knowledge came from his father, and, does that mean that his father is very important? Because again, is it common for dark eye person to be medic?
No, it's not. It's not. And his father is medic, but that was easy too. You don't get tap on your back because.
Yeah, but I mean, I was wondering if if it's common. How is his father? How was his father medic if he's also dark eyed?
I don't know. You can be medic and dark eye, but it's not common.
Okay.
Do you know where they are going? I'm not sure if this is said here.
Well, they are going to some unclaimed lands, apparently, where there are some high storms. It's dangerous.
I'll just say to you that there is some cruel humor in the place where they are going.
I don't know if I should say it because I don't want other people to be spoiled.
I know this is not. It will be revealed in next chapter. So it
Shattered
is not.
Plains.
Yes. Somewhere where he was, wishing all the time to go, but I doubt that his plan was to go as a slave.
Oh man, that didn't even enter my mind, man.
But it is cruel joke to get to place where you are trying to get, but on this way. Come on.
8 months of beating. I think it's good price to pay. I'm kidding. Okay, man, but just before we finish this, episode, I think there is not much to mention here. I noticed 2 celestial objects, and one is actually it's a cluster of stars, and they named him after Talanel. It's called Talanel Scar. But the other one is the moon, and it's named Salas, violet colored moon. So to me, is that a hint of another herald or something?
No, but this I'll just mention this Russia planet. It have 3 moons, and this Salas is one of them.
Okay, but
But
is it random name?
I'm not sure how it's named, to be honest. I really. But there is some speculation about this moon that is very important, but I cannot speak about that.
We will make episode once I read all of these books.
Yes.
But I think that's pretty much it.
I think this would be it from this episode. This was pretty straightforward episode, so I don't think there was many things that you didn't notice. It was pretty straightforward.
Man, the only thing that that I'm kind of mad at myself is that I didn't figure out, full lashing with that wind spren.
You missed the only missable thing in this chapter.
Yes, I cannot believe.
Yes, but that is basically it. And guys, see you in next episode where we will start with Shalan. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. So I hope you enjoy it and see you next week.